Hey guys, welcome back. We are at the Cherry Pie Criterium from a couple weeks back. I'm here with my teammate Chris Riekert.
Howdy.
Welcome, Chris. So let's talk about the course first, because I think there's a lot of interesting things going on with this course. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 corners.
This is, I think, one of the most complex race courses of the season for sure. Cherry Pie, this is the second iteration of this course. I've raced Cherry Pie as two totally different races, but they've both kind of had similar hairpin structures to them. So, you know, from the start of this thing, you're in parking lots and you're going around cones, and it's not necessarily a defined course. So as you guys watch this video, you'll see that we're just going every single direction you can possibly go.
And the really technical nature of this course means that it's pretty hard to move up, and it's hard to chase. There's only a couple of places on the course you can chase. That means gaps open up. That means people get tired because you're basically either braking or sprinting, I feel like, on a large portion of this course. Wind was a factor today, too. There was some wind on the course.
Totally.
So what was our plan? I'll let you get started. What was our plan as a team coming into this race? Because we had, like, what, 7 guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was Mike's always has a lot of numbers, but this was, I think, one of the first, good showdowns of the NorCal calendar, where we had our team, Mike's Bikes, coming out with 7 or 8 riders and a full squad of everything from sprinters like Jeff to all-arounders like myself. We had kind of everything covered with that. But we were going toe-to-toe with the Volair riders, which used to be the team Herbalife. Now they've switched sponsors, and they're going to focus a little bit more on NorCal, which is really exciting. So thanks to Phil Mooney for making those guys stick around a little bit. And then on top of that, there's also a lot of other really good competitors too. Folks like Sam Bassetti. Sam's an incredible sprinter. Took the overall at Tulsa Tough last year, and he's one of the only guys that can take on sprinters like Justin Williams and climb hills. He's one of the most dangerous people in the country. Luke Lamperti as well, another guy from Santa Rosa, super strong. Honestly, one of the most talented people I've ever seen on a bike. And so we've got a really good mix of a full team from us, a full team from Volair, and then we've got a lot of really strong other riders in this race. And given that technical nature, it makes it pretty tough.
So one thing that I said early on, we had a lot of ideas about strategy. We can get into that. But the one thing that I thought could be potentially really dangerous for us and Volair was if we went, because it was like 8 Volair guys and like 7 Mike's Bikes guys, something like that, is if we just kind of do a slugfest between Mike's and Volair and we just keep attacking and chasing each other down, then you have the aforementioned Sam Bassetti, Luke Lamperti, who are some of the nation's best sprinters who are going to benefit from that. So we had to be careful not to set up a situation where they just get a free ride all day.
Totally. And I mean, like, it's always tough because, that's not a conversation you have with another team of like, hey, you don't chase us back and we won't chase you back. Like, it's almost one of these things where you kind of have to keep trying. And at some point you need to have a strategy that doesn't rely on forcing a breakaway. I think, I'll say from my perspective, I have all the confidence in the world of Jeff to be able to close down a sprint. And so I think I'm always a little more leaning towards, let's just take control of the race. We'll ride the front and we'll make it really, really fast in the end. But that's not how this race played out.
That's probably a good opportunity to fast forward a bit, and we'll talk about how things shake out.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so we are now in the heat of the moment. We are in the race. And given how complex this course was, the first, 10, 15 minutes or so, right, were dynamite. Like, they were fast. It's such a narrow course that not everybody can get through, and you can see us here on the screen here. Everybody's going bananas still. I spent some time off the front, and now we're kind of coming back into the part of the race where everything really comes together. And so Jeff is still kind of cruising along, covering a little bit of a gap, but now we're about ready to go into a breakaway mode.
Yeah, you can see that that there's a small group of like 4 that contained Chris, Andrew, it looked like Sam Bassetti, and Luke Lamperti. So basically like some of the fastest guys in the race. And then I'm looking back, I'm like, I'll let that go. Like, I have 2 teammates up the road out of a group of 4. I'll let that go. So I kind of forced John to attack. And that's John Borselman. He's this guy that's attacking right now. Rage attacking again. And it's worth mentioning that before I pressed record on the GoPro, Chris, who's on the front now, you'll see him with that fancy baby blue Specialized. He had done a lot of work before I clicked go on the GoPro, and now he's on the front. But this is a weird place to attack because you can't really open a big gap through here because there's a speed limit through these really tight corners. Like, you just can't take these corners faster than like 25 miles an hour or whatever that number is. So he kind of dangles up there, and Chris is keeping him in check. Chris is tired, like I mentioned. He's done a lot of work.
Tired?
Chris
Don't
doesn't get tired.
Sell me out like that. I'm not tired.
Chris flicks his elbow right here. He's not tired, but he flicks his elbow.
Well, I just want Luke to do some work.
They're not going to do any work because they know it's up to us to catch John, and so I know that kind of forces my hand. So this wasn't really my plan, but this is what good racing's about, is like making snap decisions that are for the benefit of yourself and the team. You saw a shadow there as I came through the corner. I do have the Terun rider, Yuri, on my wheel, and that's all right with me because as long as it's not like Luke or Sam, then like I just want representation that's not them. Thinking that like best case we make it the breakaway, worst case I'm making Sam and Luke do a lot of work and giving my teammates some respite.
Totally.
But
yeah.
you're not tired though.
No, I'm definitely not tired. It's very early in the race. Oh yeah, your heart rate's 175. Who's not tired now?
It got up to like 180 in Snelling. We'll just do a little foreshadowing.
So,
on that.
I think this is something that was like really well done in the race. Like, we didn't intend on having Jeff ride a breakaway all day, but one of the nice things is like once you get yourself into a position like that, again, you have to think about how do we win this race as a team. And Jeff is so fast that if we can get him into a group where he can actually relax and not have to pedal through at 1,000,000 watts, that means we're pretty assured that he's going to be one of the fastest finishers. And it's on everyone else's responsibility to close that breakaway down. So now that Jeff is represented up the road, now Luke and Sam, those guys are responsible. They have to try to figure out how they're going to get this group back.
Yeah, and this is a little interesting. I think we'll get into this in the next segment. But now, here's the composition of the breakaway. By the way, this is the breakaway the breakaway of the day. So you have Yuri from Terun, and then you have the two Volair guys, John and I forgot his name. Which is kind of to my point.
Skinny Willie.
Skinny Willie.
Willie Myers is one of my favorite people, a legend in Northern California, and the new rider on Volair, who I haven't had an opportunity to meet yet, looks like Skinny Willie. Not to say that regular Willie's fat, but it's just a tinier Willie.
A smaller Willie. But you don't know, that sounds weird when you say it
Little Willie.
You don't know, like, I don't race with this guy. He's not from our district, or at least he wasn't last year or the year before. So, like, you don't know. You might have a 1,800 watt sprint that I don't know about. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I think we'll talk about that more a little later. Let's cut forward and maybe talk about race dynamics from my perspective and then from your perspective back in the field.
Let's do it.
Okay, we are in the closing laps now. And we still are all together, the four of us in the breakaway. And what have I been doing? Well, I've been taking kind of little baby half poles because I don't want to get countered by the two Volair guys, which they were doing the whole race, understandably so. But I'm stubborn, and they couldn't shake me. So I'm still here.
Unflappable.
I'm still here. I didn't want them to ride away. The worst thing you can do in a breakaway as a teammate is to get dropped from the breakaway. So I didn't want that to happen, and I'm still here. And they've kind of given up on attacking me for a while. But you see I'm coming through here. I'm taking these really wide lines, so it's hard to pass me. It's hard to pass through this section anyway, but, I mean, my power isn't really going above about 280. And this isn't what Volair wants because they like having the stacked breakaway. So they want to keep it fast, and they have motivation to stay on the front and keep it fast. So you're going to see in about a second, there goes John attacking really close to me. And the counterattacks have started back up again, and I'm forced to chase this back. You have to do a big effort. And I snap it pretty hard at the beginning because I want to make sure the guys behind me have to do a big snap and power too. And as we approach this corner, I'm like, John's coming in a little too hot. And sure enough, boom, stuffs it. And we can laugh now because he's okay.
Right, exactly. Yes. In the moment, Jeff nearly pulled over to see.
I was so
Are you
concerned
okay?
About
Will
him.
we need to apply a gauze pack?
Oh, he had a lot of skin missing on that day for sure.
So now, but that brings up a really interesting point.
So
John crashing is unfortunate. Like it always sucks. I hate crashing out of races. Especially, I hate crashing within the limit. Now there are no more free laps. We're very close to the end of the race. But to that point, Jeff has been up in the breakaway. He's got 2 Volair riders and another rider from Terun, and really kind of has to walk through those guys, right? What we're doing in the back, the rest of the team, we want to keep the gap manageable. If we all of a sudden let the gap between us, the main group, and Jeff in the breakaway explode, now all of a sudden the Volair riders are going to start 1-2ing him like really hard. They're going to hit him. They're going to make him do the work. They can slow the race down. They can kind of really start to control the tactics a lot more closely. By us in the back, in the main field, keeping them close, that forces everyone up there to ride, or they're going to be caught. So when John crashed there a couple of minutes ago, what that really allowed us to do in the back of the group is go like, well, fine.
Yeah.
Numbers are even now.
Now we're really confident Jeff can win out of that group.
Exactly, right. Now there's no lead out for a sprinter. They can't 1-2 him on the last lap. It's not going to make Jeff have to chase anything down. If they want this thing to stick out in front, they all have to work together.
Yeah, and the nature of this course, I was able to see the gap back to my teammates every lap. And we were keeping you guys at, I don't know what it was, 30 seconds or something? Is that where you were about? I
feel like it was a little less than that, somewhere in like the 20-second range. It was just like a little more than would be really comfortable to go across. Like you could maybe make
there's
it.
a sweet spot there, right? Because if, like you said, if you get too close, then Sam or Luke, or Sam and Luke, are both have it in their legs just to shoot across on the uphill tailwind.
Totally. And so like now that's what's happening. So our team, we have taken, all of our control away, and it has fallen almost entirely onto the shoulders of Sam Bassetti and Luke Lamperti to try to pull this back. And they are attacking. They're coming over the top. They're trying to really close down this gap. And it was really interesting. You can see us coming the other direction there. Luke has just taken a massive flyer trying to shut this gap down. And I am sitting on the back of that, just waiting. Because I know I've got Jeff up in the front, and I feel confident that he's going to be able to take this sprint in 1 lap to go.
And I feel confident too. And I think we'll just play it through, right? Yeah, last lap. Yeah, we're coming into last lap anyway.
So how are you trying to position yourself then here? You've got 1 lap to go. You've got 2 riders. The Volair rider is taking a really long pull here. Where do you want to be? Well,
as long as he's working, I like this position. He's probably doing a little bit more work than he needs to, but the difference is I have a teammate in Chris here in the group behind. Granted, he's coming with some strong guys, but I know that they're going to be doing most of the work. Chris is going to be relatively fresh. We've already established you don't get tired.
No,
so
exactly.
I know you're not tired. But I can still kind of I can still rely on that, like, hey, I got a teammate back there. So I'm making sure.
And just, I know we can't see it here, but something that's really important. There are 3 of you in this breakaway, right?
But you're not going to see the Terun guy because he's like, you guys do the work. And you're going to see I do take a kind of a slightly stronger pull here. I'm definitely not going to put myself in a position where I think I'm capable of losing the race. So I'm going to do a pull here to keep our gap open. Enough to get to the finish, but I'm not going to go so deep that like I lose my sprint legs. But I'm going to help a little bit.
Did you have indicators throughout the course of this race as to what to be prepared for from the sprint? Like, did you expect to be able to out sprint these guys, or how did you figure that out?
Good question. And as I alluded to earlier, I don't know about Little Willie, who's attacking right now. By the way, boom, there he goes. He's taking pretty ripping lines through
aggressive,
here.
Yeah,
that's aggressive. And it's choosing a good time too, because if you open a gap coming down this hill, everyone's doing equal work. And I didn't know if he had a sprint.
He's attacked so many times that he probably can't have a sprint.
It's true, but the fact that he's doing this tells me he doesn't have a sprint, because if he's going with like 800 meters to go or whatever that was, that's a big indication to me that he doesn't want it to come down to a sprint. Yuri, who's on my wheel this whole time, he's fresher than us. He's done 0 pulls in the last quarter of this race, and he's won Cat 3 races. He's a recent upgrade from Cat 3, so he's kind of a dark horse too. I would prefer to be third wheel in this situation, but I'm kind of forced here in second wheel. It's too late to move around at this point, and this is an uphill right here, and he just opens it up so hard right here, and I'm like, ooh, I'm desperate for a second. I'm like, holy shit, I might lose, because he really ripped it hard, but he fades.
Jeff, when I saw this video for the first time, I was confident you lost.
Oh my God. For a second, I thought I did too. But that's like a 25-second sprint. And he probably started at really high power, but he didn't carry it to the line. And And fortunately, I had the legs to and the stubbornness to come across and close it down for the win. So I'm super stoked on Cherry Pie because I haven't won Cherry Pie since I was a Cat 4, I think. It's been a minute.
Closed it down for the first team win of the year.
Yeah, excited. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for Snelling coverage here in the next little bit. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff that we appreciate. And Chris, good having you on.
Thank you.
See you guys in the next one.